I'm Kay. Welcome to Bead Sisters. I'm so glad you're here. It is an absolutely stunningly beautiful day here. I am in rural South Carolina and it's just a perfect spring day. I think it's going to be in the 70s and it's dry and clear skies and absolutely gorgeous. So welcome to my porch. We are going to talk about knitting projects, sewing projects, books I'm reading, and even something that I started watching on Amazon Prime. So if that sounds interesting, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to hear more. All right, let's talk about some knitting projects. I actually have a list so I don't forget anything. Let's start with my longest running project currently. It is the Goldfish Memory shawl. Last time I showed it on video, I think I was down here somewhere. So I've gotten some done, not tons given that it's been a couple of weeks, but I did this stockinette stripe section here, and then the lace section right here. And now I'm on just a straight up garter section in one color. So this is the easiest section so far. The next section I will be striping, I think it's these two colors, maybe. And it'll be garter stitch stripes, and then after that I think it's stockinette stripes again, but with, I can't remember. Anyway, two of the colors are going to be striped. This is getting pretty big already, and I'm on section 7 or 8 of 12. I'm actually not sure I'm going to have enough yarn to finish this as written. It's fine, it wouldn't be a big problem, but this is, I didn't weigh it, but this is how much I have left of this variegated color. I have more of the other two, I think. Yeah, these two. So here's where we are with the 3 yarns. It might be enough, but if not, it will not be that much of a problem to just stop because of the modular style of construction. But anyway, there we go. Oh, by the way, if you hear banging and thumping, we are having work done on an upstairs bathroom, which is right up there. And so occasionally I will hear banging and thumping. No shouting, so that's good. Okay, the next thing, I think this is the next longest running project that I brought with me. This is the Aileas Cardigan. It is by Isabel Kramer, who was kind enough to answer my question about how to pronounce it. So I'm pretty confident that I'm doing it right now. So this is the cardigan, and you can see the little mock cable detail. I am probably about here. I'm past the split for sleeves. And so you can kind of see where I am. And this is that mock cable. I'll try to remember to link a video tutorial of how to do that because it's I think it's a fairly well-known stitch, but I really like how it's used in here on either side of this. And there's more under the arm, and there's pockets too, and there's some of this detail around the pockets also. So obviously I will be adding sleeves later, and I will pick up for an actual button band and a collar. It's been a while since I did it, but you work the fronts. It's a kind of a lot of stuff going on working the fronts, but it's picked up there. So you work like the back and then the fronts and then join it all together. I feel like I'm past a lot of the fiddly part of that one, which is nice. The yarn, Nebraska's Best, Corriedale Merino Cross worsted from the fiber mill in Stromsburg, I can never remember, at Spindle, Shuttle, and Needle. There we go. I'll turn that down. So you can see 100%, let's say Nebraska, Columbia, 200 yards. So cross, I'm not sure. Let's say Corriedale Merino Cross, but then it says Nebraska, Columbia. Anyway, spun, milled in Nebraska. So that was, I picked that up last summer when we were there, and then we came home and got sick with COVID, and so it got kind of put on hold for a while. But I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm really going to enjoy that when I get it done. All right, next, another cardigan. I don't know if I've ever had 2 adult cardigans on the go at the same time. But this one is from this book called Handmade from Traveling Yarn. And the project is, drum roll please, the Copper Canyon Cardigan. And I'm doing it in the exact yarn in the pattern. If I can hold this one up so you can see this page a little better. And this is the one that has this traveling stitch on the front and a lateral braid on the back. I'm gonna go back to here. So this is the traveling stitch that travels across this way. And it's on each side. It mirrors that on the other side. And then this shows you that lateral braid here. I hear a plane. I'm not to the sleeve split on this one yet, but I've got the front started. That one's getting a little loud. Possible. We get some military planes flying over occasionally. Can you hear that? I don't know if it's picking up. Usually by the time I hear it, it's too late to see it if it's one of the military jets. Okay, so this is the lateral braid across the back. Let's see if I can do a little bit better. There we go. You can see that lateral braid. I'm thinking these stitches underneath are a little loose. I've never done lateral braid before, so if you have any suggestions for that, let me know, or maybe that's just how it looks. Okay, I find that the ones on the left side look fine. This traveling stitch looks just fine to me. The other side, however, looks a little messy. And I wish I had brought my notes from my audio podcast. So you can see that, I think that looks a little messier. When you're forming that stitch, I'm gonna find that in here. The right traveling stitch, which is the one that looks neater, is this one. There, that's good. You knit 2 stitches together, do not pull off the needle, and then you knit just in the first stitch and then take them off. With the left traveling stitch, you knit through the back loop of the second stitch only on your left hand needle. Do not pull it off. And then you knit both through the back loop. And I'm thinking maybe that's twisting the stitches so that it's not quite as neat a look. Following the directions. See, I don't think that looks as neat. It's not terrible. It just doesn't look as neat as the other one. But I'm guessing maybe the knit through the back loop is the reason for that. The yarn, here's one, is less traveled. Isn't that a gorgeous color? I really like it. It's Sedona from their Creosote collection. It's Arcadia DK, 100% Merino. Anyway, that's the yarn, and that's my progress. Just kind of tossing stuff around here. Put the book over there as well. I have another project that I actually mentioned on audio, but I'm having to order a second color. So this is the pattern. It's free, so I don't know that I'm actually giving anything away, but I'll not show you the full pattern. But it is called Sunflowers Will Rise, and it is free, and they suggest in lieu of pattern purchase that you donate money to a relief organization in support of the people of Ukraine. It's a folded brim. Let's see if I can hold that up again so you can see it. So you have a folded brim, and then the color work beyond that. It's done in worsted, and I have one of mine. It's Aileas Blue Columbia worsted. And I really like this. I think this will be a gorgeous blue for that. I like it, but I simply don't have any yellow. I could have pulled a skein and dyed some yellow. I have some worsted base available, but honestly, I'm just too lazy to pull it all out and do a full skein of yellow. So I ordered some, and I don't actually remember the name of the company that I ordered from. I think they were on Etsy, but once I get that, then I will tell you about it. But yeah, I wanted a very bright sunny yellow for this, and I just didn't have anything like that in my stash or in what I've dyed before. I've never dyed a lot of yellow, although I like it. Maybe I should add a little bit more. I think I'm starting to see a little bit more yellow in projects, so maybe. All right, I have a sewing project to show you. This is my Easter skirt, so I wore it Sunday, and this is the pattern that I use. Super simple. It is a pattern from Simplicity, and it's this view, this one, view, is that A? Yes, view A. And you only cut 3 pieces. So you cut the front of the skirt and the back of the skirt, which honestly are so similar, I can't tell them apart once they're cut. And then the other is pieces for the waistband. It's a single pattern piece, and you cut a front and a back. It's done in knit fabric. So there's no elastic, there's no buttons, no zippers, nothing. It's just stretchy. But I love this citrus fabric. It took me a while to decide if they were oranges or peaches. I think they're oranges. Isn't that pretty? And then I can make it as long or as short as I want. I don't like working with knit fabrics, but I really like wearing them. So, and this one's super easy. And this is the waist. You see it's very tall, so you can pull it all the way up, or you can fold it down. I think it's designed to be folded down, or even kind of squished down, scrunched down. I have ordered a topper for my pear glasses. I'll show you these. These are the ones with the chickens. I don't know if that's focusing. But I have, knowing now that the frames fit and that the prescription is good, I've ordered a couple more toppers, including a sparkly orange that I think will look really good with this. I haven't gotten a shipping notice yet, so those are not, to my knowledge, on the way yet. If you decide you want to purchase from Pear, whether you already have someone just wants to order some toppers, I can't remember if it's good for any, I think it's good for any purchase over 60. I will drop a link to a discount code, and it will give you I think it's $25 off, and it'll also give me $25 off in the future. So check that out if you're interested in Pear eyeglasses. I am very pleased with the prescription. I was fully prepared to not be satisfied with this prescription, but it is really good. I'm very happy with it. Speaking of seeing stuff, let's talk about what I've been reading, if you're at all interested. I'm done with knitting and sewing stuff, so if this is where you get off, if this is your stop, good to see you, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right, let's talk about what I've been reading. The first one is one that my son actually gave me for my birthday, but at my request. It is The Diary of David Brainerd. He was a an 18th century preacher. He lived and died in the 1700s in the Northeast. He died quite young. He was 29, and he spent so much of his time writing to preach in what was then the wilderness to the native people. It's just amazing his commitment to his own faith and being as faithful to God as he could. I have to take breaks reading it. It's pretty long because a lot of it is really sad. He struggled quite a bit with depression. I think it's really fascinating to read that from this perspective of the 1700s. I don't think we read a lot about it because it just probably wasn't talked about very much. But it's been fascinating to read his comments and his diary as he dealt with that. But anyway, Diary and Journal of David Brainerd. The others are also a little dark, but in different ways. The other one that I think it came out a couple months ago. It just made it into my library. Doomsday Mother. This is about Lori Vallow. She, if you're not familiar, she and her fifth husband, Chad Daybell, are accused of killing 2 of her children, along with some other people. The information about this case is out there. It has not yet gone to trial. What this book does is give a lot of background information. I'm 4th to a third of the way through. You can see my thing right there. A lot of background information into how they got to that point in their lives. So both of them talks quite a bit about their childhood, how they grew up, what their lives were like prior to when they met each other. So if you're interested in true crime stuff, there are tons of podcasts about this. The one that I have followed the most podcast-wise is Pretty Lies and Alibis. They are actually kind of local to me. They're located in upstate around the Greenville area, and they do a really good job of it. While the material they talk about is quite dark, the podcast itself is relatively clean. You're not going to hear bad language, and they don't make it any more graphic than strictly to tell the story. So if this is one that you would like to know about the case, they've really delved into this one in great detail. So I don't know if there's any kind of a playlist for just this, but you can go back and listen to their information about this case. So Doomsday Mother by John Glatt. My stomach's growling, can you hear it? The other one is fiction. It is by Lucy Foley, called The Paris Apartment. I'll read the little blurb in here. Jess needs a fresh start. She's broke and alone, and she's just left her job under less than ideal circumstances. Her half-brother Ben didn't sound thrilled when she asked if she could crash with him for a bit, but he didn't say no. And surely everything will look better from Paris. Only when she shows up to find a very nice apartment, could Ben really have afforded this? He's not there. The longer Ben stays missing, the more Jess starts to dig into her brother's situation and the more questions she has. Ben's neighbors are an eclectic bunch and not particularly friendly. Jess may have come to Paris to escape her past, but it's starting to look like it's Ben's future that's in doubt. Everyone's a neighbor, everyone's a suspect, and everyone knows something they're not telling. I am enjoying this one, but again, I'm only almost halfway. So I'll give you my review later once I'm done. But it's been pretty good. I haven't had a ton of time to read. I read a little bit at night before I fall asleep, so I haven't gotten through a lot. One more thing I was going to tell you, and if you have heard of this one, don't give anything away for me, okay? I just started, I've only watched the first one, I think, watching Queens of Mystery on Amazon Prime, maybe Acorn. I think it may be AcornTV. I have access to it through Amazon Prime, but I think it may be available other places, but on AcornTV. It's a mystery show. The premise is it's a young woman whose mother disappeared when she was 3. She was raised by aunts who treated her well, so it's not tragic in that sense, but she grew up with this mystery in her background, and she grows up to be a detective. So she's now got her, I think it's her first job as a detective, and she's solving a mystery in the town where her aunts live, where she grew up. The twist is all three of her aunts write mystery novels. So they always want to get in on helping her solve the crime. So if you know stuff, don't give it away, okay? But I'm enjoying it so far. It's very modern Agatha Christie style. So not overly gory, at least not so far. And I think I'm gonna like it. I'll keep you posted. If something gets where I don't care for it anymore, I can always just stop. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me. It's good to see you. And again, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I would love to visit with you again soon.